I'm the organic search strategist at 90octane. So what that means is I spend the majority of my days geeking out over all of the latest and greatest in the organic world.
And I'm Ariana Wolf, and I'm a paid search strategist. And just like Shannon, I usually spend my days geeking out, whether it's about the latest ad formats that we have to play with or really strange search queries that come through.
Ariana and I attended the Conductor Collaboration Conference, which is also known as C3, out in New York City. And for those of you, oops, I gave it away. For those of you who are not familiar with Conductor, Conductor is a tool that we use at 90octane. We adopted about a year ago. And what it does is it gives us really in-depth reporting on SEO data, including linking, competitors, and just normal visibility data. So with that said, here it is. So what we realized at the conference is that a lot of organizations think about pay-per-click and SEO as two totally different entities. It's like they're two different superheroes with different crime-fighting agendas. We get so involved as search marketers in making sure that our tactic is the one that outperforms everyone else. We're driving the most traffic, the most conversions, and we just want to make it so that we're shining, when we're presenting to our CEOs or our clients or whatever the case is.
But it doesn't have to be that way. Shannon and I are both big believers in trying to use paid and organic together for the best results, and so really that's why the two of us went to a truly SEO conference together. I was one of just a handful of paid people in the room of about 400 SEO marketers. So it was really cool to see that we aren't the only ones thinking that way. So we listened to the same content over the 3-day conference, and we had two very different perspectives on everything we heard, and now we're going to share that with you.
So as you've heard a couple times throughout the night so far, we always hear that kind of cliche saying that content is king, and I'll say it again, content is king. And it's becoming more important now than ever. So not only that, taking it a step further, it's not just about the content that you have, it's about the content that your audience is looking for. So people are out there searching for content that you are probably already an expert in, but you may just not have it on your site yet or available. So one of the things that I get really excited about is this example I've given, and anybody at 90octane is probably super sick of hearing this by now, so I'm really sorry. But one of the examples they gave is if you think about Google being the teacher at the front of a classroom and all of the websites out there are the students. Someone does a search on how to build a bird bath. So Google's saying, okay, students, anybody have content on how to build a bird bath? Home Depot, you've got content. You don't have content? Lowe's doesn't have content. Bird Watchers of America, do you know how to build a bird bath? No? Meanwhile, eHouse sitting right up front going, pick me, I have content. So Google says, oh, okay, I'll serve the eHow content. So I just think that's a really fun example and a good reminder that there are people out there looking for content that you're an expert in, so don't let Google serve eHow or worse, your competitors. So on that note as well, like I said, it's not just about the content that we have, but it's about what people are looking for. So a lot of times we have it really backwards when we're developing content or building a new website. We think about what products do we have and what content do we need to build to support those products. When really we should start thinking about what are people looking for, what are they searching for, what content do they want, and how do we weave our product story throughout the process. So another example, because I really like examples. There is a company called Bugaboo, if you've heard of it. It's a really innovative stroller company. Bugaboo kind of wanted to get to the bottom of this content, thought. So what is their audience actually looking for? So as I'm sure you're familiar with this, if you go into Google and start typing something, it'll suggest really popular searches. So if you type in something, Bugaboo might have seen, okay, what to do in Los Angeles, and you'll see that bottom one is what to do with kids. So they said, people are actually searching for this content, and I think I can help. So what they did was, when people were searching for that content, they built a website that was available that had about 25 to 30 different interactive maps for different cities around the world. They gave you information about where to travel with your kids and your stroller and all of your things, and what are the kind of kid-friendly things to go see and do. And this was a really successful campaign in driving traffic and ultimately holding that person, that prospect, through the beginning of their buyer's journey all the way through the end.
So as we were sitting there listening to these examples, as the paid person in the room, I was thinking, that sounds like a really great idea, and it works for paid too. So when you're trying to capture the attention of customers at kind of the top of the funnel, like Shannon was just referring to, you might be already trying to bid on some pretty general keywords like things to do with kids in Los Angeles or maybe stroller-friendly attractions in Denver. But where are you going to send those people? Are you going to send them to your stroller product page? That's not really all that relevant to what to do with my kids with my stroller along. So what are you going to do? You're going to send them possibly to the SEO content you already built. It's going to help your paid program significantly because it's going to help your landing page relevance, which helps match to your ad, which then helps your keyword quality score, which ultimately affects your cost per click, which is really the bottom line.
All right, so half the battle is figuring out what content is my target audience looking for, developing that content, and then using both pay-per-click and SEO to drive traffic to that content. The other half of the battle is making sure that the two are actually working together, and that's where Ariana and I get really excited. So as you'll see up here, this was a search on the term Adobe software. And as you'll see in green is the organic listing, and it's very brand focused, telling the brand story as you would expect on someone searching for that branded term. The pay-per-click ad up there is actually promoting an 80% off discount for students and teachers. So can anybody guess which ad or listing got the most clicks? Yeah, pay-per-click. I know you would think the branded. I think just with that 80% off discount, people were really, really interested in it. The problem is that everybody that was clicking on that, and mind you, they're paying for those clicks, they weren't students and teachers, so it didn't apply, and what did they do? They probably bounced from the site and didn't ultimately convert.
So what Shannon was saying there is that Adobe really probably could have done better here. But let's start with what they did well first. So just like Batman and Superman working together, having paid and organic on the page together can really help your overall search program. But it's not just enough to necessarily show up at the same time. That's a great first step. But let's look first at the thing that we type in the search box. It says Adobe software. Notice that the ad says Adobe Photoshop. Notice that it says student and teacher discount. The query doesn't have anything to do with deals, discounts, students, teachers, or even Photoshop. So really the ad message is out of sync with the query. Then when we look at the organic results, it's out of sync with what's showing up organically as well. There's some stuff on there about the Photoshop family, Adobe Reader, products, downloads, really just kind of general stuff. So really they're not in sync there either. Finally, we're going to look at how they're positioned. So we're in ad position number 1 and organic position number 1. That might work, that might be great, might drive a lot of clicks, but we won't really know until we test it. We might be able to bid a little bit lower on our ad, show up in position 2 or even 3, maybe even on the side, who knows, and save a little bit of money and let organic do the work. So really the main point I want you to get from this is you don't want your paid program to turn into kryptonite for your organic program. Paid is a great thing, you can do a lot with it, but you don't want it to steal clicks you could ultimately be driving with organic when you're already appearing highly. So you might be thinking at this point, that's all well and good, but how do I do this? So this is what we call co-optimization. It's really looking at paid and organic together, how they interact, and what we're going to do with it. So the first step is to go back to what Shannon was saying at the beginning. Figure out what your audience is looking for to begin with. How are we going to do that? We're going to turn to our favorite friend that you trust so much, Google. You're going to start typing some keywords that relate to your business and what you're trying to promote into that search box. And before you hit enter, look at the suggested searches that come up. Maybe there's some ideas there. Maybe you never thought about stroller-friendly hikes in Denver. Maybe that's something you can build content for. Secondly, site search. You have that on your website, and it's a great tool because it's people already navigating around your content, and maybe there's things that they're not finding that they want to find. Finally, think about your social networks. What are your audience talking about on Twitter, on LinkedIn, on Facebook? What kind of questions are they already asking you directly? What kind of language and keywords are they using?
So let's go back to our Adobe example and kind of talk through how we would actually go through this co-optimization process. So, hey Batman.
Yes.
So I'm sitting here trying to push out this awesome brand messaging through my organic listing. I've got it nailed down right where I want it. And you are really cramping my style with that 80% off discount.
I see your point. It just works so well in paid that I just really like to use it. But You have a point, so maybe we could try testing a little bit more general language and see what happens. While we're at it, I know that I'm spending a lot of money to be in position number 1, and you're already showing number 1 as well, so maybe we can work together a little bit, and I can test backing off my bids a little bit and see what happens.
That's a great idea, and then we can just kind of take a look at the before and after and see how the overall conversions compare. And on that note, I hate to bring this up, but do you think we could try pausing the pay-per-click ad?
I don't know. That's just too far. No, I see your point. We don't really know what happens, really, when one is off and the other one is showing, so maybe doing a little bit of testing, some day parting, a couple hours during the week. Maybe we could try and see what happens.
Awesome, let's do it. So, finally, the important things to remember from our presentation tonight is that now you've figured out what content your audience is looking for. You've developed the content that they're looking for. You're driving pay-per-click there. You're driving SEO there. Everything's working really well, but you have to remember to bring in all of your other teams. So not only can you leverage this content across things like social and print, you also have to make sure that all of these teams are involved up front so everyone has a hand in that strategy. So if there's one thing you remember that Ariana and I have said tonight, it's that you need to think bigger than the search results page.